The most successful KPI systems that I put in place for outbound were a point system, and it was booked meetings, but there was a ranking of like, is this SMB, mid-market, or enterprise? And is this a manager level, director level, or VP level? And you had ascending points. The qualification process is just, do they show up and did they hit all of the overt indicators that you could have called beforehand? Level of role, title of role, because you're never going to know decision maker until you get in. Employee size, even tech stack integration hypothetically, and we use like LinkedIn as a point of truth, not our CRM, but like LinkedIn as a point of truth.
Even though I understand why, like in a complex, long sales cycle, you would need like several people involved in the process, like with your SDRs, with your AE.
Yeah.
I do feel it's a big issue to have this system with SDRs and AE. I understand that it works. It has been proven in many companies, but when it comes to KPIs, I'm really much more for a full sales cycle. I don't think that the data part, like gathering the person, finding the contacts, etc. I think all these things should and could be automated because I think it's like a real waste of time to get the list. So for me, I think this is more the role of like a sales ops or like the growth teams or like growth ops or whatever. The sales, however we want to call it, like a AE, a CAM, whatever, should be handling from A to Z. And I feel like it's just something like, I think those type of systems where you involve like several steps and different people in it, remove totally the sense of ownership.
Yeah, accountability.
You don't really know who's leading. It's not like the AE is not the manager of the SDR. The SDRs, they have their manager. The AE, they have their manager. But they're supposed to be working together and their work is supposed to be like intertwined.
Yeah.
In the end, it doesn't work because for them, it's so easy to say like, it's your fault or no, it's your fault. There is a lack of ownership. In my opinion, like some organization could start kind of like hybrid departments. And you also totally cut the idea of sales is about relationships.
Yeah.
And when you have someone help you out, bring you solution to a problem.
There's investment there.
Yeah, it's there. The relationship no, it's like, I want to talk to that person.
Yeah.
From a pure business perspective, it's not as smart because when you have one SDR one AE, it costs a lot.
Average organization has a KPI of like 6 meetings for outbound. That's inclusive of a lot of times inbound. If someone came, blah, blah, and they're at like half the quota. So they're getting like 3 meetings a month. I'm like, it's broken. Specifically, if they're hunting enterprise, like 1 meeting a month, 2 meetings a month, 3 meetings a month. And let's say that goes annual. So we got 36 meetings. The up pay is not there.
How exactly do you think that an SDR feel when they see a difference in salary between them and an AE?
Oh.
What does that reflect on the level of their role? Or the importance of their role in the process.
That you're nothing.
Exactly.
You're nothing.
Yet we know that the one of the most, if not the most important part in any outbound campaign is who do you reach out to?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's jarring to me and it's not working. So there's only 2 options within the buying community. We can either gut SDR or you can make the best of the journey. So most of my KPI systems that were set up were just to make the best of the journey. My avenue that I went is like, okay, how do I make the KPI systems that make the most sense within this current existing infrastructure? Because I'm not going to gut the globe.
Yeah, and you will not get an enterprise that has like 200 SDR, 500 AEs or whatever to just like change to full sales cycle, for example.
100% should give you like a good marker of 2 things that you're paying for. How effective was the person is basically the inbound SDR is measured on what percentage of leads that came in that were truly qualified from the overt indicators of like role, employees, blah, blah, blah. Did they get into a meeting? So you're basically, when marketing leads spike up or they spike down, they aren't hurt, and then when the volume gets too high, you just hire a second, hire a third, hire a fourth. But then basically they aren't penalized to say this person's not qualified.
I think what's really tough with inbound SDRs is that what is the true impact of meeting with a sales rep? What is the true impact of someone who requested a demo? What is the true impact of like having a person actually making that demo to this company and converting them? Would they convert without the demo? And another question, which is even harder to track, is like, for the person who are having the demo, how long would they stay if they have a demo versus no demo versus like a self onboarding. And I think for me, this is like the hardest part of inbound in general. It's like, what is the true impact of your sales? So for example, like what we did, it's a test that we ran. We're going to stop demos. And just look at, you know, like what the percentage, like what's the conversion rate? Conversion rates did not change.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my chair right now.
Yeah, conversion rate did not change. So I was like, you know, I'm sorry, like the data, you know, like it's for us at the time, I think we had maybe like 100 new companies creating accounts every week. So on a month, it was maybe 400. Now we're more at like, I think, maybe like 1,000 or something like that. So it's like, so the scale is there. Like you still have like significance in the data. But then, you know, like by looking at it, I was also wondering, because of course it can impact the conversion rate, but can it impact, you know, the renewal, the churn, or the retention?
Yeah.
And this is when we actually started to see that people who actually interacted with support and potentially had demos would stay longer.
Yeah.
So the truth is, like, very quickly we actually shift back to
CS model.
Yeah, to the CS model where people can have demos if they want. But for the inbound itself, like for me, like again, like having this quota of demos booked, of show up, etc., it doesn't make sense. If your marketing is bringing more people that want to be self-service and don't talk to you and don't come to the demo, it's fine. Let it be, you know?
Yeah.
But if people want demos, then in that case, I think you should offer them. Most people, whenever they do demos, do they end up demos with an action plan where they set up the right expectation for the person within a certain time frame? No. So the demos, there is no clear expectations, sometimes not even a follow-up, nor email, nor anything. Well, actually, this is potentially the best way to understand what the person is after, create like a success plan for them, and really bring the most value. So for me, I think the whole system of how inbound demos are done is already broken. I'm just wondering, like, on your perspective, why do you think that people making inbound demos are so bad overall?
Yeah, I think sales is misunderstood, period. It's misunderstood. People will say like, oh, well, salespeople are good people and we're not all bad people and we're not all going to sell you stuff that doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, you will. You're not a bad person, but it's because in your mind, you should just convince someone of something. And I'm like, if you go up to a sales rep and you say, how do you differentiate from your competitor? And they give you a list, you're irrevocably fucked. Because if they have that list, they should not be able to answer of like, well, what problem are you trying to solve? It depends on the buyer persona, it depends on where they are, it depends on the issue that they're trying to solve, because the features should match up to whatever problem, you know, that they're trying to solve. Like if I know that you're trying to solve for like KPI system differential, and then I'm talking to you all about how my objection handling techniques are really great, like it's malpractice. So it's bizarre to me that like people aren't taking a mirror and saying, you're not helping people, because the option is here, but it's, do we have the depth of expertise, desire? Do we have the boldness to dream what sales could be? Do we even understand the first thing about our buyer? And do we have the concern for them in a way that we want to help them? So we'll learn about our buyer before our product even, so that we can help them get to the next stage or solve the imminent threat in the room. But like to your point, it's over a period of time that they're like, here's the plan of how you take this medicine and what you're going to intertwine it with to get it to your outcome. People would say, well, that's ludicrous, Becc. I'm like, no, that's sales. That's helping people from front to end. So I feel like there needs to be an accountability, not only for the expertise and knowledge of the buyer, and that starts with inbound, that starts with marketing, like attracting based on problem. Qualification should be the depth of the problem, the impact of the problem, the understanding of the root cause of the problem. Sales should just be a double click on that. CS should be, how do you solve this problem using this tool? Inbound's a great indicator of it, but it's just across the funnel that people think that their role is to convince.